Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. And I want to thank you so much for joining me this evening on the Talking Sip Saturday night. And I'm doing some different changes up tonight as well. Uh, I look forward to this discussion this evening. Discussion will be the power of the diaspora, and also crime, scars of crime, the psychological trauma, and all those sort of things. And I look forward to getting a great sort of what should I say discussion today with different persons, and I look forward to immensely, your input immensely, because something of this nature need substance and and I believe that everyone has the answer. Somehow, everyone has the answer. So, without further ado, let's crack and roll. Let's go. I must say that the sound that just came in a while ago from that intro was very loud. I don't know if it was very loud for you, but it was very loud for me, and I just couldn't find any way how to turn it down. And in order to turn it down, it may somewhat affect my thing. I want to ask you if you can hear me very clearly. I want to do a test here because I'm changing up my mic, and I want to see if I can be heard very clearly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 can be heard very clearly. Oh, sounds good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 can be heard very clearly. Oh, sounds good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to try to sing all this out. It sounds very clear. I was testing it with my daughter earlier. As you can see, the mic is above there in my ear. You got to try different things. But tonight is Talk and Sip Saturday night. And my question first and foremost to you is, what are you drinking? Yeah. What are you drinking today? Of course, as you can see, I made some I made some punch. And I call my punches, every time I make my punch, I call it straight out of Oche. Straight out of Oche. That's what I call it. Straight out of Oche. Why? Because I'm from Ocho. So straight out of Oche. And yeah. And I made that today. And it's a combination of raspberry, combination of blueberry, some banana and some pineapple. And banana, pineapple. Yep. Banana, pineapple, and orange, of course. An important thing about it is that you have to make sure that the pulp is in it and those bits. Sometimes I strain a bit because sometimes my daughter say, "Oh, it's the bits in the mouth," but I try to strain a bit and leave some in it at the same time because this is good for you. As one who is, doctors say I'm diabetic, and for persons who have, we got to learn to eat properly, drink properly, and a lot of fruits, which is really good. And normally, of course, I'll always have my sparkling water in the night here, and I have a bottle of Merlot, which I don't think I'll touch, but it's just for props, this evening. And I was with a good friend of mine Saturday, just a couple of days ago, and we were talking about prostate cancer, because King Charles recently has been diagnosed and is in hospital with this prostate thing, and I had a good mate of mine who is very much involved in prostate and prostate cancer bits and pieces in the UK, and bits and pieces, I don't know where that word comes from, Anthony Francis, Mr. Think It Planet Do It Now. And we were discussing it on Wednesday night. And I just wanted to sort of recap a bit about prostate, and bits and pieces, because as you know, the King Charles is proceeding on enlarged prostate, and of course Kate is abdominal surgery. Um, so King Charles treatment for prostate condition, and what they found out is that a lot of people are actually testing. There's a 1 out of 4 black men will have prostate cancer, you know. And if I look at it here now, and I'm just going to quickly run through it for just as a sort of education and for people to be aware of this. What you need to know about prostate cancer awareness. What is the prostate? And it's a gland that sits beneath the bladder. Its main job is to help make semen. The following people have prostate: men, trans women, non-binary people who are assigned male at birth, some intersex people. So just that is the which I have there. And in the UK, 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in their lifetime. And they talk about you have a family history. Check it out. If you're a black man, age 50 or over, check it out. They didn't say he had cancer. No, actually, you're very correct there. He doesn't have cancer, but he's doing something. That's what I was going to say. He doesn't have cancer. That's King Charles. Someone just, I don't know if I said he had cancer, but he doesn't have cancer. Common symptoms of a prostate problem: needing to wee more often than usual, day or night, difficulty starting a wee, straining or taking a long time to finish weeing, a weak flow, feeling that you haven't emptied your bladder properly, needing to rush to wee, sometimes leaking before you reach a toilet, dribbling urine after you finish weeing. So these are the things that men have to think about. And because the most of my viewers are black people and a lot of men at the same time, remember to look out for your check out your prostate, and ladies as well. Your husband, your uncle, your father. That's it. I think there's a once over 50 or getting up there. Prompt them to check it out as well. So I'm using the opportunity that I have to share. It's a sharing is caring, and your live may contain themes not suited for young audience. I don't know what that is. That's TikTok bit. Conditions that can affect the prostate: an enlarged prostate, prostatitis, prostate cancer. So I'm not fully knowledgeable of this, so I'm just sharing quickly the slide which my good colleague Anthony Francis had put out there. And what can you do? What you can do if you're at a high risk of prostate cancer, you can speak to your GP about the pros, the cons of a PSA test. Speak to one of the specialist nurses, and of course I'm talking about for the UK. This may apply to different persons for different countries. 0800 074. What is it? 0800 074 8383, or chat to them online. Share this information with people you know. Yeah, share this information with people you know. So this is about prostate, and to be aware of this, ladies and gentlemen. So this is very important. I just want to share that to eat properly, and if you're diabetic as well, eat properly. Change your diet. I know doctors will give you lots of pills or so, but got to, not for me. I will not advise anything, but health awareness, exercise. Like I do a lot of walking. Exercise is really good for you. Fitness, your diet, and all those sort of things. Drink a lot of water as well, and that's very important. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, the topic which I've coined tonight is a combination of two things, and it is two things, which is diaspora power and the silent scars of crime on a nation. Of recent days, as you realize, there has been trouble in paradise, or trouble in the UK, or trouble in the USA, or trouble in Canada regarding the diaspora, where they're challenging a few things with the government. And Dr. Rupert Dr. Rupert Francis, flag up this whole issue. And they had a demonstration, when was it? Yesterday in the USA. And I believe that the power of the diaspora is so crucial. I've been involved with the diaspora from 2004, and I recognize that the power of the diaspora, this is what I say, the power of the diaspora, when they can be a strong working together between the diaspora and Jamaicans. That is, people in the diaspora, and we're talking about Jamaica now, yeah? People in the diaspora and those overseas, right? My computer is jumping. I don't know what happened. There seemed to be a slight glitch there. But if I just share, just really briefly, I don't know what's happening. I'm having a glitch there. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's hope that all goes well tonight, because I'm having a slight glitch. Diaspora power refers to the collective influence, impact, and potential that a diaspora community holds, particularly in terms of contributing to the development and well-being of their home, country, or countries of origin. Diaspora can manifest in various ways, encompassing economic, social, cultural, political dimensions. And some of the key aspects of a diaspora is that they have economic contributions, remittance. Diaspora community often plays a critical role in supporting the economies of their home countries through remittances. These financial contributions can support families, local business, and even national development projects. Yeah. Entrepreneurship and innovation. Diaspora communities can bring a wealth of skills, knowledge, and entrepreneurial spirit to their homeland. And we are seeing that happening. Cultural exchange, advocacy, and networking. Diaspora groups often engage in advocacy efforts to address the needs and concerns of their communities. They may also leverage their networks and connection to influence policies and promote positive changes, in their home countries. I think that's what Dr. Rupert Francis maybe is doing with the crime prevention organization, which is head of, trying to advocacy and network. Diplomatic influence. Diaspora communities can exercise diplomatic influence by fostering relationships between their host countries and of origin. This can be particularly valuable in areas such as trade, education and skill transfer, philanthropy and social impact. I mean, we're seeing persons like Angel and different organizations that, and I'm speaking from a Jamaica perspective, that have used the wealth and the knowledge that they have, and their influence and their leverage, and they take like ambulances down to Jamaica as well to impact areas, communities. Civic engagement. Diaspora communities may participate in civic and political processes, both in their host countries and countries of origin. And you talk about education and skill transfer. I know people have gone back to Jamaica, get involved with in education, philanthropy, social impact. As I said, civic engagement, technology and communication, crisis response. That's one of the powerful ones during time of crisis. Hurricanes, Hurricane Gilbert, Hurricane Charlie, whatever, earthquakes, whatever. The diaspora moved towards it. Natural disasters, conflict. Diaspora communities often mobilize to provide humanitarian. And I take that big picture there because what we're seeing even right now in the Hamas and the UK, Hamas and Israel, you're seeing the diaspora take a frontal political and influence in and demonstrating. You see it in London, the Palestinian moving out. You see the Jews moving out as well. Everybody is taking an impact. I was somewhere recently, and there was a lot of Haitians there in the UK, and the Haitians, the diaspora communities were also there. Harnessing diaspora power requires recognizing and valuing the contribution of these communities, fostering partnership, creating avenues for collaboration. Governments, NGOs, and other stakeholders can work to leverage the skills, resources, and network to diaspora communities for sustainable development and positive social impact. That is very powerful. That's very powerful. Happy Saturday, Silburn, and all in the chat. Thank you so much, Michelle Clark. You know, there was a recent demonstration, and I do not have anyone from the demonstration which took place recently. But if I just share a small video, and the small video is just a small video I'll share, and small video is this. Here we go.
Who's Jamaica? We're coming to you live from the Jamaican Concert Building here in downtown Miami. We have with us Wilfred Rattigan. No, not a vagabond, not a vagabond, not a vagabond, not a
vagabond. There we are. So that's happened there, and hopefully we will talk about that later. The second bit that I brought up for tonight is the essence of crime. You know, crime in Jamaica, the scars of crime. I call it also the psychological trauma of crime. And what it is, it is very interesting, you know, because the silent scars of crime on a nation run deep, affecting not only individuals directly involved, but also the collective psyche and well-being of a society. And we can call it an entire society. The physical impact of crime is often visible. The emotional, social, and economic consequence can be just as profound, leaving lasting imprints that are not easily healed. You know, I was thinking in a way that sometimes I hear of crime in Jamaica sometimes, and somewhat when I see the killings or hear of the killings, someone will always punctuate it. I use the word punctuated, would say that person was involved, that is why that happens. The brother and the sister, they were involved, so that is what happened. So there is a level of justification and an acceptance, I sense, and I could be wrong, and person can correct me, that there's an acceptance of crime, or recognizing that it is because of someone, because of a relationship, because of a DV or whatever, and that relates to killing. Someone said to me, Silver, it is because the killing also is that many people are not killed because they haven't found them. Psychological trauma. Victims of crime often suffer from psychological trauma that can persist long after the event. Breakdown of trust. High crime rates can erode trust within communities. Economic impact. Stigmatization, marginalization. Strain on social services. Or the Prime Minister was talking about that. You know, Ministry of Peace. Impact on education. Generational impact. Legal and judicial consequences. Silent scars of crime. And it is very silent. But for tonight, I don't want to hear my voice. I'm going to try to hear from different persons. I want to hear from you as well. What's your take on it? If you're going to write on the sideline, or if you're going to come in on the show, if you're going on TikTok and you want to say something, if you want to actually call in, there's also that opportunity that you can call in. And the number to call in is right here. You can call in on 447764978716 plus 447764978716. Right? And I was looking the other day, and I saw this beautiful image, and I'm going to play that. I'm going to look for that image there. It was a cow, and that cow, I would say, represent like society to a certain extent. And the cow was being attacked by lions, and the lions were like the ferocious aspect of crime. And then all of a sudden, another cow came, because they had these bull horns. That cow came and hit that lion or kick that lion. And then all of a sudden, more came. And I'm going to play this right here. It's silent because why it's silent? Because I took away the background music there, because there's a background music just ensure that there's no copyright issue. But if I play it, I'm going to let you see it. Let me play it. And it's there we are. So what you're seeing right there now before your very eyes, and let me narrate it as if I'm, Mr. Dibmebe. The line is there. All of the lions are attacking that one cow. Look at that. It's like crime in a society. Attacking. There it is. Then all of a sudden, look there. Another cow come along. And the lions are all scared. Then all of a sudden, more cows come along. All the lions are scared. So it's like the scourge of crime is moving because everyone has come together and decide to make an impact and to make a difference. Instead of each one person speaking, everyone collectively speaking. That's powerful. That's powerful. Good evening, Jacqueline. How are you doing? Did I bring you in without a notice?
Hi. I was trying to fix my background.
Trying to fix your background. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I'm trying to fix my audio as well. I don't know, my audio is a bit crazy. So we can both try fixing things together.
Yes. For real.
Yeah. Let me see something. You can hear me, yeah?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
You can hear me clearly. Yes, I can hear you clearly. As well. Let me see something here. Yeah, no problem. Yeah. How is your day? How is Jamaica? How is Jamaica now? How is?
Had a good day. I went with a group of my students on the road, and then I went to community day in Westmead. I was the guest speaker there. Talking about community development. They were celebrating the scheme was handed over to the residents in 1980.
Yes.
So they're trying to organize the community again to get back, starting off the year right in terms of community development and getting community to come back.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
My friend just said a while ago, before I lose it, she said it goes back to the power of the people is more powerful than the people in power.
Yeah, that a lot of us don't realize that.
Yes.
We have the power.
Yes.
And that we're more powerful than those who are elected officials. So let's put it that way.
Yes.
That's the term I'd use. The elected official, that we are more powerful than elected officials, and that we have the ability to change things.
Yes.
We sometimes get into the whole mode of I'm not, I can't do anything.
Yes.
But if we come together, changes can happen.
Yes. Well, listen, let me I want to talk first on the diaspora thing, yeah? My question would be, how long do you have?
As I say, I've had a full day so far, so let's see if I can do.
Okay, I tell you what I'll do is I'll go on the crime first of all, because that's a bit. I want to welcome Lester as well. Lester, how are you, blogging God? You're good.
I am well, Silburn. Good evening to Jacqueline. Or good afternoon.
Yes.
Good evening. Good afternoon. After 6, my grandmother told me that after 6 is good evening.
Good evening.
So we're not there yet.
Well, it's almost midnight for me.
Wow.
And he's in he's in Netherlands. Where again?
Well, Silver. I live in the Netherlands, Silver. I'm not necessarily in the Netherlands.
You live in the Netherlands. Okay. All right. So you don't want to say. Well, a guy named Corey normally used to come on the show, and we asked him where is he, and he said I'm on the internet. He's on the internet, so we never know where he's actually. And Jacqueline Bryan, she's the president of the Jamaican Association of Social Workers. And I tell you what, there's twofold things because there's a Jamaican social worker team manager in the UK who wants to link with you guys. So I've sent her your number. So that is something we talk off the air.
No problem.
But listen, I touched on the bit about crime, and I listened the other day after Mr. Jolan Silvera was was arrested, and I turned on Nationwide. And when I turned on Nationwide, because I wanted to get some background to it, the first news was about the Jolan Silvera case. The second one was about the killing of a guy who was involved with the killing of the siblings, the Moody's, that they were found in the pit. And the next one was another person. Anyway, it was crime, And I started to think and say, hang on a second, is this what Jamaica is subject to every day? The whole aspect of
I went on to watch the news, the midday news one day. I wasn't watching it at midday, I was watching it in the evening. And it was just exactly as you said. The news is killing after killing after killing. Mm-hmm. So it gives the impression that that's all that is happening in Jamaica. Mm. Because that is what is being spread in the news. There are not other things that are happening, right? And they might throw in one other thing. Kind of break it up. But then we go about our business. I get up, I go to work. I got up this morning. I was up by 5 o'clock. Went aerobics with my group of friends.
Yes.
Got home and went and met with some of my students this morning. Then I left and went in a community. But what you see is the news is never ever about anything positive that is happening in our country. Mm. So you're gonna find that, because when I sat down and watched that news that came out at midday, but I'm saying to myself, there was about like 10, and it was all about people being arrested and people being murdered. There was nothing else on it, and I'm saying, is that all that is happening in our country? No, that's not the case. That is not the case. That's not all that is happening in our country. But there is a need for us to address our crime situation. What is happening? There is a need to look at how we are addressing crime, where we're putting our money, where we're putting our time, and where we're putting our efforts.
Yes.
There is a need to look at that.
Okay.
Violence does happen.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for that. I want to welcome O'Neill. O'Neill, welcome to the show. Yeah.
Hey. I'm good. How are you? How are you all doing?
I'm good. Fantastic. As you know, the topic that we're talking about here, just looking at crime in a perspective. I'm just setting the stage with Jacqueline Bryan. She's the president of the Jamaica Association of Social Workers. Lester was here first. Lester, what's your take on crime? Because O'Neill and I, we discussed this earlier. We have been there before, talking about it and looking at it from different aspects, and we're back again talking about it in a way. What's your take on it? What's the solution?
Well, I mean, from my standpoint as a based on my training and the former job that I had, that crime is essentially committed because of opportunity and greed. These two variables, and opportunity and greed is very broad topics, but that's the essence of why crime is committed. What is happening in Jamaica now is that violence is so accessible and so affordable to the common man that we've seen an increase in violence. Not me say not crime, but violence, right? Because it's so accessible and affordable. But when you look at studies of countries that have very high a very uneducated population, you always have a high crime. Even in the states, certain states that have high uneducated population, states that have a lot of fathers being incarcerated, you find out that there's a lot of crime in these states. Um, Also, study have shown worldwide that a child that is growing up in a single parent home, which is the parent is the mother, is more likely, 80% more likely to commit a crime or being charged with a crime or going to prison than if it's a single parent home father. He is less likely to be charged with a crime or go to prison. Um, but for me, and what I've seen by growing up in West Kingston and other areas is education. Education is what set me apart from my counterparts in the ghetto. Education was what had me reasoning out things, problem solving, diffusing situations. Sometimes some people say some things that will really hurt. I'm gonna say, all right, are just words. I'm gonna walk away. You know, you tell me about my mother, you tell me about my kids, and you tell me about what you really do. Somebody with less education than me, and I've seen it time and time again. A man tell about his mother, and the man end up a serve 15 years in a prison.
Mm. Okay. Let me just welcome Herbert. Herbert, welcome to the stage, and welcome. Good evening. How are you doing? All right.
Good evening. I'm good, thank you.
Yeah. Good evening, O'Neill. Yeah. What's your take on it?
Silborn, as we discuss the matter around the topic, I think it was 2 years ago, or maybe 3, that we had the same discussion around crime in Jamaica, the cause of it. If you just take it at the macro level, there are various type of crimes, and I believe, and Ms. Bryant could check me on this. I think for 2023, major crimes have decreased by about 20% or so. Lester makes some great point around the cause, the breakdown in the family structure. But I also think there's another aspect to it. It's around development, right? So I was born in Jamaica, single parent. But what I had that was different, Lester, is that I had an ecosystem of grandmother, grandfather, aunts, uncles that was a part of my upbringing. So I think you see that piece is not just a single mother. It's just that you have kids that are having kids. So the grandmothers are in their 30s or 40s. I was surprised when I was in Jamaica. I had a cousin. She's about 35 and she was a grandmother, right? And you're like, what do you mean you're a grandmother, right? So I think there's some breakdown in those structures. But I also think if you just look at where the crimes are happening, a lot of it is in the garrison communities. But when you look at the major crime, the interesting thing that one of the major crime, and Ms. Bryant, you could check me on this, in Jamaica is actually rape. I think 47% or so of the major crime in Jamaica is rape, which is interesting. I didn't know that until I did some research before the show. So I think there is varying cause, but I break it down to the underdevelopment of the under-resourced communities. And I don't like the word uneducated because education means different things for different people. A tradesman can't reason on history, but he could be the best mechanic. Doesn't mean he's undereducated. So I think more is how do you find opportunity for folks in these areas that will help them develop? How do you ensure there's proper community policing to engage with the community? And then to Lester's point, how do you ensure conflict resolution? But some of it stems from, again, culture, where you are taught in these communities that you have to be tough. And by that environment, you have to grow up tough. You can't be soft. I forgot who it was that I was listening to on a podcast, and he was talking about how he grew up in Nannyville. And he's like, you can't cry, because they said if you cry, you get more spanking or more disrespect than anything else. So that's one aspect. I think there's a huge mental health aspect to it. So I think when you look at it in sort of a Venn diagram, there's multiple different causes, but I sort of put it back to the underdevelopment of communities. You could name it, Tivoli Gardens, Craigtown, all the Hannahtown, all these places. We haven't put major resources in these places to provide opportunities, right? We don't really have community policing like we used to, and Herbert could talk about that. So I think Silburn, the good thing is I'm a big on marginal gain theory. And the fact that crime came down last year, I think by about 72 less than the year before. And if we continue that trajectory, hopefully we'll get to a point where Jamaica within the Caribbean, Latin America, is not the number one when it comes to certain crimes. So I think something drastical and radical need to change. Because again, Silver, and last point is, we talked about this 3 years ago about the same thing. And Miss Bryan make a great point that the news, as they said, bad news travel. And that's all you see in the television, right, is this killing. You don't see anything around a community, for example, that maybe last year there were major killing there where the news is highlighting some positiveness in those communities. So I think, Silburn, it's going to take a lot of brain power to get us to where Jamaica is, less in the areas of major crime than we're seeing.
Let me take opening from Herbert, and then I go back to Jacqueline, Miss Bryan. And let's just hold that point there. Herbert, your quick opening.
Yeah. Good evening, guys. As I've said in the past, back in the 90s, 80s, 90s, we had crime, serious crimes. The only difference now is that we have social media, these mobile phones that are highlighting the crimes now. It's not that they're more serious now, but it is the fact that they're now being exposed, right? So if we say, look at what used to happen in the 90s compared to now, you're saying Jamaica is getting more brutal. No, it's not getting brutal. It is just because it is more on the front page, on the forefront, and every 7 minutes is a different set of crime happening that is being highlighted. Yeah. So we have to take a look and ask ourselves why. The Jamaican society has become desensitized to these crimes. Right? The victims are no longer look at the fact that they are the victims. People are blaming the victims for crimes happening to them.
Yeah.
Right? And if that continues, sooner or later there will be no redress for the victims, the 14-year-old girls being raped or kidnapped, because they are the ones who are making themselves getting kidnapped.
Yeah.
So as a society, we have to take a retrospective look at ourselves, look at what we do, look at what we're doing, and try to find a way to solve it. Find a way we can work with organizations in getting some of these things out of society.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us tonight on Talk and Sip Saturday night. The topic is about diaspora power and the silent scars of crime on a nation. I've got President of the Jamaica Association of Social Workers, Ms. Jacqueline Bryan, Blogging God Herbert, and thank you for those on TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. Before I go to Lester, Jacqueline, you're muted. Am I muted?
Yeah, Miss Bryan is muted.
I think you're muted. I think you have to lift. Okay,
No.
yes, you are.
Yes,
Jacqueline?
I'm unmuted. Yeah,
Okay,
you're
yeah.
hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you
All right,
clearly.
fine.
We can hear you clearly. That point that O'Neill flagged up, and what do you see as the perception? There's a word which is the Prime Minister used, the perception of crime and the reduction of crime, or is it something which is more now, or is it social media exposing it more?
It's if you look at the statistics for crime, well, I didn't go back as far as the 1990s, but I went into 2013. The statistics for crime from the starting spoke to murder being 1,200 in 2013. It dropped 2014, then went back up into 2017. So shooting is actually the number one in terms of crime, and rape was number three. So it fluctuated. Robbery, in terms of the amount of robberies that happened in Jamaica in 2013, was way above all of those. So the statistic shows you what is happening in terms of the numbers based on what police information and what stating is saying. So we have crime happening in our country. We have violence, aggravated assaults happening in our country. We have that. There's an article written in 2010 about desensitization based on how the media covers. I remember at one point in time there was a request for the media to stop showing the faces of children. Because they would, if something was happening, the faces of children were being shown, and the blood and the gore was being shown very much. So it made people not be sensitive. It made you, sure, that happened every day kind of attitude because of what you're being fed on a regular basis. So we have to look at, what is it, the chicken or the egg? Is it that we have so much crime happening, but how is it delivered? What is happening in Jamaica, in our society, as it pertains to violence, as it pertains to crime, as it pertains to, there used to be on the two news TV news station, a ray of hope or positive things happening, and I'm not seeing that so much being shown of what is happening. Yes, we have crime. Yes, we have violence happening in our country. But when you perception, I work in a community where when I tell persons I work in that particular community, the question is asked, how do you go there every day? And I'm said, just like how you go to work every day. Because the perception of the community in which I work is that it's the wrong address. And people are violent and aggressive and so on. And that's the perception of in the Jamaican society, of that particular community that I work in, that I spend most of my time in. But that's not the case. That is not what is happening. In reality, if one incident happens, it gets blown out of proportion. And that is the attitude is, that's the norm, and that's how they behave. But then a whole year pass, 6 months pass, and there's nothing. But yes, still, when one incident happened in say within that 6 months period, it's made to look as if that community that's what normally happens in that community. And that's the perception that we have and we share a lot. I get a lot of my Jamaican social workers sending me message of WhatsApp on DMing me on Instagram about this incident that they was shared to them by somebody. And the big hue and cry. And what about the things that are happening, that are positive things, that is happening in our country that's not shown? So yes, we have the statistics to prove what is happening, to say what is happening, but then what about the other things that are happening?
Yeah.
Asking that question. I'll continue to ask that question.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Lester. Yeah. Thanks for that, Jacqueline. Yeah.
What I want to ask O'Neill firstly is, O'Neill, did you see the age group of the boys committing these rapes?
No, I didn't see the age group.
The last time I checked, I think they started at as low as 9, and that was surprising to me. And they had like I don't remember the percentage of like 9-year-old to 14-year-olds. It was like a large number into a percentage for rape, and that was like maybe 2014, 2015. A few points. Herbert, I disagree with you wholeheartedly with everything you say. We have more crimes in Jamaica. We're having more violent crimes. Yes, we have multimedia now, but there's a shift in who is committing the crime and how the crime is being committed. At one point, you never had gunmen running through schools, shooting at them enemies, right? Gunmen at one time in the 80s and 90s respected church, respected certain elderly ladies in the community. For many years, Hanover never recorded a murder. I remember it made news when Hanover had its first murder. It was like maybe September, October. So with Portland and Hanover, sometimes went for long stretches, months or even a year or two without even committing a murder. Now look at Hanover. No, Montego Bay St. James never had the high level of crimes or overall crimes that it's having now, right? When you look at even Clarendon, Clarendon at one point had more crimes overall than Kingston. So we are having more crimes. We are having more violent acts of crime to particular sets of particular areas of society or persons in society that never used to happen. I remember in Spanish Town 2020 or 2021, they killed a 97-year-old grand lady and her great granddaughter because they couldn't find the guy what they might look for, the grandson.
They couldn't catch Quaco, as I was saying.
Yeah, them kill him. That would never happen. Usually, if me and O'Neill have something, right? I miss O'Neill brother. Me say, yo, tell the brother some more see him, But me not touch O'Neill. That is not so again. That is not so. The man.
Yeah.
Sister, so you're having on all parts of society. Now, the recent case of the member of parliament from East Kingston, we have seen where a 10-month-old baby, normally in the 80s and 90s, you can't bring that to a gunman. You cannot bring that to a gunman. You understand me? I don't recall growing up in the 80s and 90s where a baby was killed by a gunman. I can't recall that. Right?
So Lester, what you're saying is that crime has gotten more brutal. Whether statistics are going down or not, it is more brutal.
No. The numbers, yes, it's going down, but the types of violence are increasing. So, but there's factors to that, like gangs. So you have more gangs now, right? Yeah. Just South St. Andrew, Portia Simpson Miller Farmer constituency, right, had 58 active gangs in there. Just that one constituency.
Yeah.
Right. So you have gang initiation. So you have young boys joining gangs, and the type of initiation that they have to do is ridiculous, right? And then for the crime, as Jacqueline pointed out, that she worked in a garrison, but she has not experienced certain things because of gang violence. So the gang them now go kill somebody who they're not after, you know. But the thing with gang violence now is that if my after O'Neill and O'Neill brother, although O'Neill brother is not in the gang that O'Neill is in, they're gonna still kill O'Neill brother for hurt O'Neill for draw O'Neill. So that is the type of thing is something. When I was in Jamaica in November, I went to Rima, which is a known PMP area. In my JLP shirt and my JLP cap, in the heart of Rima. Right? Nobody said anything to me. Because me not threaten them. I wasn't afraid to anybody.
People fight politics war in Jamaica since about 1984. That's gonna die down. Jamaicans have become more civilized when it comes to politics. Yeah. But you touch on something about crime travels, crime migrate. Right? There's something called displacement theory. Because of the levels of policing that was taking place in Kingston back late 90s, early 2000s, those gunmen have traveled outside of Kingston, have gone into safe havens in outer parishes. And that is why the levels of crimes have increased in safe parishes like Hanover, Portland, certain sections of Manchester, St. Elizabeth. Clarendon was always a hotspot for crime. And I'm telling you because I was privy to the stats when I was in Jamaica. Clarendon, St. Catherine North was always a hotspot for crime. Right? But now, because of migration, we heard yesterday that the suspect that buried the brother and sister down in Westmoreland was killed in St. Catherine yesterday. Right? So no longer are criminals domiciled in their area alone. They move around. They've made themselves larger targets, are smaller targets by moving from parish to parish. And the refusal of the police intelligence to pick up when they're moving about is even becoming more easier for them to move about. So yeah, I understand that you may be saying that the crime now is getting more brutal, but back in the 90s, you still had brutal crimes. You still had the West Kingston going over into Matthews and all in places. Things used to happen, but we never had the media houses that we have now to expose it.
All right. Let's listen to what the Prime Minister said. This is what the Prime Minister says.
Passed the 1,000 murder mark in 1997. It has remained above that for 23 years, at 3 times the regional average. Separate from the crime problem, Jamaica has a violence problem. While the two are linked, differentiated strategies must be developed to treat with them. Violence has a significant public health and human services element over and above the law enforcement and security dimension of the problem. Now in 2024, your government will begin the build-out of a comprehensive social services response to violence.
A social service response to violence, Jacqueline. That's what the Prime Minister says, and I think what are you part of the answer? Social service.
Social workers are supposed to be part of the answer. We are supposed to be part of the answer.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, in certain situations, we have social workers having caseload that is way more than they're supposed to. We're having trained social workers who can deal with certain issues, right? But they're not being employed. They're not being employed to address the situation. So the social service is very good, and we have sat down with agencies. Look here, I can tell you about some interventions that has happened in our country. And as soon as the international funding ends, it ends. And these one of them is CSJP, where we had reformed criminals going into schools and speaking across the length and breadth of Jamaica. And then they were also assigned to schools to come in on a day. So when somebody could come into a school, that program no longer exists and it's not happening. Why? International funding is gone. The government did not see, okay, look at what is happening here and see how it has made a turnaround. And they didn't put the money there. The money was not put in there. And we can list PMI, Peace Management Initiative, and the statement is that they were incentivized in dance by. So if you find that somebody was being a criminal and getting money from this way, and you say, okay, fine, I'm going to set you up. What is it that you're passionate about? Do you want to do music? Do you want to do a chicken farm? Whatever. And we're going to say, okay, fine, we're going to work with you to get you one out of the community in which you live into another place and set you up. Funding was pulled from that. There are so many interventions that were there, that were working, that were making a difference in terms of bringing the perpetrators, providing support, providing transformation, providing intervention. But as soon as international funding left, because a lot of them were funded by IDB, UNICEF, UNDP, a lot of those funders, and as soon as those funders moved, because you had a program that there's a program that was happening at Bustamante Children's Hospital.
Yeah.
And it was making strides in terms of mothers and children and support and providing support, because you have to start from there. You have to start from the early childhood to provide the support that mothers need so that they will not end up supporting certain kind of activities. And it has never been rolled out at Bustamante Children's Hospital again.
Yes.
Once the funding died and the international fund is left, it died a natural death. And I can speak about it because I know this.
Yeah.
Talking about social services and so on. One, we're going to reinvent the wheel. And it is foolishness that we have these interventions that are there and that have been doing well, that has been working, that has made change and transformed community. When Augusttown had the period, there was no murder in Augusttown.
Yeah. As soon as the resource persons were pulled out, because there was no, I'm not going to go up to Augusttown every day if we're going to do anything, and I'm not being paid. Yeah.
I have to pay my bills, I have to pay my light bill, I have to pay my water rate. So if it is that you're going to pull funding from out of that program, and I'm not going to do it, I don't have any interest, because I still have to find work to pay my bills. Yeah. So when you pull funding from something like that, yeah.
Let me ask you a question, Jacqueline. Is it that social service in Jamaica is not being given the respect that it deserves?
Yes, it's not being given the respect. It is not.
It's not funded either.
And it is not funded. People have to.
It's not funded.
I have worked in a lot of non-government organizations across the length and breadth, and I can speak to funding with international funders. And as soon I worked with Women's Center, I worked with ROC, I have worked with all kind of grassroots and most of the funding, we have to sit down and learn how to write grants.
Yeah.
So I think, Silver,
the government does not see it as a priority.
Yeah. But I think this is where I sort of look at it different lens. And Jacqueline, Ms. Bryant, some of those programs, like the folks going to the school, the long-term data has shown that it actually doesn't work. A lot of those programs here within the U.S. actually have been pulled because over time it shows it actually doesn't work. Not sure why some of the fundings were pulled, but I think that's one of the issue. We're so dependent on funding, and I do believe there's a local community element to it. Right? I don't know if the guidance counselors are still in the schools, but I know when I went to Edwin Allen.
Yes, guidance counselors are still in schools.
Right, but they were.
We get basket for carry water.
Yeah, but I think the point I'm making, Ms. Bryant, is that they were part of the ecosystem that helped kids when I went to high school. If there were a kid that was having issues, the guidance council would intervene, but they would go to the house. I don't know if they have those resources anymore. When you look at the murder, if you just look at the statistics, I think last year was 1393 or somewhere about the number, the decline. But to the point Herbert was making, if you look at Montego Bay is one of the highest. And interestingly, I handed the Jamaica Constabulary Force a paper in 2013. And based on data, just use data, we told them that Montego Bay area will be the next Kingston. And I'll tell you, Ms. Bryant, when we met with the permanent secretary, they pretty much laughed us out of the room. And what they pretty much said was, Jamaica don't do policing like how it's done in the US. Because what we were advocating is better community policing, use of much more intelligent, more data, right? And you need that transformation for you to attack crime in different ways, because a different type of crime. The thing that you're also fighting against is when a 14-year-old can make $1,000 US a week in scamming. Try have that kid to go somewhere else. I happened to, meet with a principal in October, and the principal has many kids within his school that says, "Look, I have a Mark X. What you have, I make more money in a week than you make in a month." Right? So you're seeing those incentives that are driving criminal behavior, right? And even though the principal said to me, he's trying to tell these kids, look, you're going to be dead or in jail. They're like, it doesn't matter, right? So somehow we have to change the incentive structures, right? There's an element where the social service, where Ms. Bryant, you are on that team, as you said, needs more resources. But I believe in figuring out how to get the local communities involved. I have a program that, Silver and I, and one of the things I've said to folks is that if you have funding, as you said, Ms. Bryant, the funding will dry up, and therefore the program cannot scale. What I've said, you have to build the resilience where they become self-sustaining. So we have to provide some incentives for some programs where they're now self-sustaining, where they're taking the profit from the infrastructure we put in place to help kids in school, right? So I think as long as the social service means giving resources that are needed, but you have to tackle the criminal element. But to your point, I think what we're trying to do, and I think Ms. Barney said it, we have to tackle it from, as they say, the baby and the suckling. We got to get into community. We have to do the hand-to-hand combat, because we're going up against the dons, right? We're going up against an infrastructure. So we have to figure out how to touch the hearts and minds in those communities. And I think you need job opportunities. You need job incentives, because if you have to do $1,000 US, right, versus zero, you're going to pick the $1,000 US. And when a 14-year-old or a 15-year-old, they're going to take that $1,000 US, right? So those are the things that we have to focus on, because the statistic is a statistics. And I hope, based on what we're seeing and the trend is going down, we're going to continue to see that. The state of emergency, I don't know if it's working. I think you're playing whack-a-mole, And I think you also have to root out corruption, because when you put one of these system in place, all of a sudden the guys who you want, they know long before that this was going to come in place. So guess what? They're gone. Mandeville, for example.
That is so true.
Yeah, Mandeville. Mandeville was cool Mandeville. And imagine in October, Mandeville became an epicenter of crime, right? And I experienced it where you see the guys with the scamming, these guys with a BMW, you're in a bar, you see them buying X amount. He's like, hold on, that's a 15-year-old kid driving a $6 million car, right? So I think we have to figure out how to do a comprehensive intervention, Silver. And as long as what the Prime Minister said, that social service means giving Miss Bryant and her team and be able to figure out how to do conflict resolution, provide job educational opportunities, right, and economic development in these under-resourced environment or communities, we're going to be talking about the same topic 10 years from now, and we still have to solve it.
And you know what, Anil, that's the point again. As you said, we've been here a few times, and sometimes we get reactive. I think I'm reacting at the same time to the recent update in Jamaica. But, in years ago, during the transatlantic slavery movement, years ago, a lot of people were actually living in an era where they were traumatized. Mother, father, raped, whatever, traumatized. And I'm wondering, this is what I'm wondering. That's why I use the word scars. And Miss Bryant and guys, yes, the crime is happening, but at the same time, is it that the people are not moved to really want to do something about it because they are sort of desensitized? Lester, is it that people are desensitized to the point that they don't want to move towards wanting to make a difference? Because in the slavery period, it was a few people who got up and said to the person who was being from child to maybe in their middle age, they only knew about slavery, and they thought that was it. So therefore,
well, people born into slavery, and what is happening now is not the same. I understand where you're going with it, but people born into slavery, this is their norm, so them don't know nothing else, right? Now, when you look at the crime in Jamaica, there's many aspects to it. A lot of times people react to crime when it gets personal. So you have a lady in St. Thomas, a pregnant lady that was shot a few years ago by a police and killed, right? Nobody in Westmoreland rioted. Nobody in Westmoreland had an issue with it. This is just to people in her vicinity, right? Because it was personal. When you have the person in a Mobile now or Westmoreland experience the same brutality or crime from gunman or police now, them start think back and say, oh, remember the woman that St. Thomas who you killed too? So then it became relative to them, right? But as a person who grew up in the inner city, several inner cities, you get so used to seeing crime every day. Not only that too, there are certain things in Jamaica that we don't see as a crime, right? Simple things, like in countries that we all live in, who is on the platform here now, stopping at a stop sign in our country is a mandatory thing, right? It is a mandatory thing. In Jamaica, you roll through the stop sign, right? You roll through the stop sign.
When you see the amber, you speed up.
No. I'm not talking the stop light, I'm talking the stop sign. The
stop
sign.
Yes.
So in Jamaica, it is a culture to roll through it. You understand me? But in a country that where we all live in now, it's mandatory. Say you stop at the stop sign, right? Because you know that there's usually a consequence that's coming with not doing that, right? A lot of people in Jamaica don't know that spitting on the street or peeing at the street corner, and these things. There's so many things that them do on a regular basis, right? That they don't know that it's a crime. So we have so much crime being committed around us, right? It also depends on who commit the crime, what type of crime is committed. So you have a girl that is 14 or 15, but she's big in her body, she have breasts, so she develop fast, and she's having sex with Wally Pam man of the year, older men, right? One other guy may have sex with her, and the mother not like him, and the mother report that guy there, right? And lock up the guy. There's some man in the community, a woman in the community, start cuss the mother and say, the girl that have sex long time, why you in me lock up? You're wicked. They tell the mother, the mother wicked, you know, right? And they can relate to the mother other men who have committed crimes with the daughter, right? And then they say nothing wrong with it, you know. So I'm saying it's so much different crimes committed around us that we don't even know. It become a part of a routine to do these things.
Lester, there's there are factors to what you're saying. There's a law enforcement part of it, right? And most of the police officers now don't know what constitutes a crime in Jamaica today, right? Most of them. Traffic, I was lucky or blessed to have stood on the shoulders of giants in that department. And if you go to Jamaica now, most of who are working in that department, you call them young judge because their aim is to make a 10 or 15 grand for the day. They don't care about prosecuting someone who did not stop at the stop sign or who disobeyed the traffic light. All they care about is to make money. So when it comes to enforcement, the police have sold themselves short. They have compromised what good governance is, what good policing is, by stretching out their hands and telling people sink or swim, right or left, buy me a lunch, me hungry, them issues, right? So we have to take a step back. We have to look at the mindset of the people that are living in Jamaica. And if we can, if they cannot develop a sense of pride, knowing that they live in Jamaica, where everybody in a foreign land wants to be in Jamaica, we have a problem.
Yeah.
And the problem is the people who live in Jamaica are denigrating Jamaica to the point where they have a good tourism product, but their mindset is going to destroy that product that they have.
Yeah. Let me go into Anil before Anil go, and you're gonna say something, Anil, and you can say what you're gonna say after I say what I say as well, and that is the Mecca, that the view is that Jamaica is going to be like this Mecca of the Caribbean. People are saying the Asians, the Indians, and tourists, they're not feeling this. They're not seeing this crime. You know, what is it there? Is there like a disparity there? And at the same time, Jamaica is raking in a lot of investment. Am I right or am I right? There, Jamaica is raking a lot of investment at the same time.
I think what that is telling you, a lot of it is personal. It's within communities. Yeah. So when you look at tourists in Portland, Orcharias, St. Ann's Bay, etc., they're not in that area, right? And
not Orchard.
So I think it just tells you it's within a system, and it's been driven by the scamming, right? Which your typical, tourist or whomever is not going to get involved in it. You're right. There's a lot of investment coming into Jamaica. I would say Jamaica has a lot of positive things about it. Mm. And to Miss Bryan's point is a lot of the bad things are amplified because the incentive structures for news organizations are upside down. It's all about profit. It's all about clickbait. So let's get something that goes viral. And you see that sort of mindset and culture infiltrate in Jamaica, where everybody want to be an Instagram, influencer. So they do all kind of craziness. Like, Lester, you remember the guy who was, pranking, taking license plate off cars.
And the guy was almost killing him one time.
And almost got killed, right?
Yeah.
So you're seeing these things for views. And
O'Neal, the guy was in on it,
But my point
the guy that drives the BMW?
He was in on it?
I don't remember.
He was in on it, yeah.
Yeah, but what my point, Lester, is that they're doing it for this clickbait, right? Because that's how they see them making money. So the news organization, they're not incentivized, Ms. Bryant, to highlight the positive things that are going on in the community, right? They are incentivized to put the gory details, because you see 1 million views, talking about a school in the inner city that had, X number of CXC passes. That doesn't get retweet across the globe. So I think we have to figure out how to, get the algorithms to not amplify. I'm in the tech industry, and I wish the algorithm will amplify the CXC passes versus the gore details. And until we get those incentives alignment, we're going to have to figure out how to make sure on the social services side, we're addressing the under-resourcing of community policing, job opportunities, right? Social workers in communities, right? Prison reform has to be part of it. So I think if we don't get all of this together, what will happen, you get all these incentives or these investment coming into Jamaica. And if we're not able to reduce criminal activities in the next 2 to 3 years, some of these investors are going to go somewhere else, right? The last thing I would say is that you see other countries are now highlighting what they're hearing in the news. So if Miss Bryant and I are talking about investing, and I say I want to go to Trinidad versus Jamaica, they're now bringing up to say, you see the murder rate in Jamaica. By the way, in Trinidad, it's less, right? So we have to your point, I think, Miss Bryant, you make it, be mindful of the stories we're telling, because that gets amplified, right? So I think this is where I believe if we had a better diaspora, Silburn, we could engage in a way that is not self-fulfilling, as I always call it, because I do believe the diaspora has a place to play. We just have the wrong people that are amplifying the diaspora viewpoints.
Only let me say something. There used to be a time in Jamaica where on the media we would the Jamaica Constabulary Force would speak of the murder rate almost on a monthly basis and give the statistics, and it was stopped. Do you remember that?
Yes, because
there was a monthly basis where they would come on the television and give the murder rate as if that would help, and we lobbied for that to stop. We lobbied for that to stop, and it has stopped. So it's not in the face front. So it's as you say, we need to realize that yes, certain things are happening in our country.
Yes.
But why are we? I've had persons say they've gone to the United States and they didn't know that there were people sleeping on the street.
They should go to San Francisco.
Yeah. You understand me? But I'm saying that
that's Skid Row or something like that.
The marketing of how they market the United States makes everybody wants to go there. Makes everybody wants to go there. We have young people and companies going out in Jamaica on a daily basis and working and doing what is right and what is positive and making great things happening in our country. But do we have do we have those being highlighted? The solutions, O'Neill, the solutions are happening. Young people in Jamaica are coming up. There was a whole family in Jamaica that came up with an app based on a dining table conversation. Anybody heard about that? Anybody know that?
That wasn't breaking news.
Can you repeat?
There's a family that came up about an app based on a dining table conversation they were having, and the mother made a competition, and they created an app.
But you're not hearing anything about it.
You ain't hearing nothing about that.
But I'll give you one, Miss Bryant. In New York, there's potholes. The app that you have on your phone, that when you hit a pothole and you have your phone, it then sends a notification. That was created by a young kid in Jamaica, Northern Caribbean.
All right, fine.
But you don't hear those things.
No, you don't. So the solutions are there, but we're not highlighting the solutions. Things are happening, but the solutions are not being highlighted.
Well, Ani just mentioned a while ago about solutions. Is it incumbent upon us then, in a way?
You gotta run.
You gotta run, Anil. Yeah. Cheers, Anil. Bless you. It is then incumbent upon us to push and to promote the positive things, because the media houses or the mainstream media. When you hear, one of the reasons why I went to Nationwide, because I always hear Nationwide with this thing about breaking news, and I said I'm sure I'll get that information about the Silvera case there, and I was right. Everything there was so horrible, you know what I mean? And it's like it was so exciting. It comes across exciting, like, you know, this is a breaking news.
Let's have some breaking news about the solutions that we're doing here in the country. Yes. So I'm willing to work with you, Silver.
Yes.
To start sending you and feeding you the information about what is positive and what is happening here in our country, so that we can change the narrative.
I must say, let's go on, Herbert. Yeah.
As I've said on previous shows, Jamaicans don't want to hear anything, or let me not say Jamaicans. Some Jamaicans don't want to hear anything positive that is happening, because they love the scandal, they love the mix-up. And that is what.
And that's what I'm saying. Let us change the narrative. We remember now, we lobbied for them to stop reporting at the end of the month the murder statistics. It stopped. And it used to be something.
But you know, sir,
Jacqueline,
and panel. You know what? And is a certain sector of society alone engage in these things repeatedly, you know, right? I have friends who are politicians, I have friends who are upper class, I have friends who are middle class, and they would see certain things on my status, or they would see me post certain things on Facebook or on Twitter, and they would call me and ask me about it. These people are so busy that they don't have time to embellish and involve in certain things, right? But when you look upon a particular socio-economic sector of society, they are the ones who are capturing these images, sending out these images, right? And involving in these practices of crime and recording the crime and exploring and exploiting the scenes of these crimes. So we have to also target and identify and accept that. How can we then get this sector of society, right, to change their habits in doing that? Because is the same sector of society that is encouraging, allowing, and going into crimes also.
Yes.
The same sector. If you remember during COVID, when the police had to be deployed in these impoverished areas to get the people them off the street, you don't see the same thing where the police are run down the man up on Narbrook. Police never run down nobody for Cherry Garden, right? But they had, but it's the same set of people who are committing these acts, and so we know where the problem is. We know who's committing the problems.
Because prohibition drives certain things.
Yeah. Jacqueline, before I switch over, I want to touch on the diaspora a bit there. What do you see as the solution from your perspective? Oh, you're the only person in Jamaica now. Yeah, because Herbert is in Canada. I'm in Ochi. Well, I'm still in Ochi, but sorry, I'm in the UK. And I say Netherlands. Herbert is in London, just around the corner from me as well. What do you see as a solution then? What would you say?
Going back onto what Lester just spoke about the fact that a lot of you see, and O'Neill said it, opportunities.
Yes.
Opportunities and exposure. I remember taking a group of young people to a workshop.
Yes.
I took them out of their community and took them to a workshop. And I could not believe that you lived in Kingston and you had never been there. One bus ride away. One bus ride away. And they were in awe and amazed that this was Jamaica.
Yes.
You're muted. I thought you were. I thought Lester.
Yeah, I was muted a bit, but I'm back. Sorry, Lester.
No, but
Lester.
I'm saying.
No, where was it?
I took them to
where
a
did
workshop
you take
in
them
Ligani.
to?
I took them to a workshop in Ligani. I took them to a workshop in Ligani. Right?
Jacqueline, I took some guys from Southside 1 year to the Independence Festival. You know, they keep this Independence thing in New Kingston.
The Grand Gala.
Yeah. And so, you know, in the night, there was stage show and stuff like that. I took some, and it was, they've never known, say, Jamaica have them tall building there. They have never been to New Kingston. And I downtown them live.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Some say one of them, you know, you can walk.
It knocked me over with a feather to know that you have lived here. And it's just within that circumference.
Yeah.
Just one bus stop away, you know. One bus stop. You can take one single solitary bus stop from where you are.
But you can walk.
I've also found that when I try to encourage them to go elsewhere,
they get pushed back.
I have to do a mindset change before. If I want them to go to somewhere in a February, I have to start prepare them from January.
Yeah.
We have to start motivate them and encourage them because they're not sure that they want to go there.
But could it be that it's coming from the home?
I had a conversation with a group of them recently. Right? And I had to say, I spoke to and him said, Miss, me nah go there. And then one said, no man, anyway, Miss B, I carry your man. Miss B, I carry your place where you have to learn. So we are going, Miss, and I did because they who had been with me before started become the peer educators and telling them that no man, that now them start come and say, Miss, when you are go out again. Miss, me want come. And one next one say, no, Miss, because of the exposure that was given to them, some of our Jamaican young people, that's where we need to start. We need to start with our young people to expose them to some places, to let them know that there's a different from where you are living to the experience that you have had from age 1 up to 12 is different. There's a different thing outside of the sphere outside there. So, and you're quite right. But taking them to things like Grand Gala and taking them to other places.
But Jackie, Herbert touched on something. It's cultural, you know. right? So you have these microcosm of culture in the communities. Like them have a thing where them say, yo, me nah stray, right?
Yeah.
Oh, me nah go Spanish town, me nah stray. Me nah give you my 3 points. But what happened, you know? How I was raised when I was living in Kingston Gardens, we go church. Most people in our community go church. Even if even under my church and go to church.
Happening anymore
You went church, Lester?
Yeah, man. Moving national Bible competition, you know. And so me telling about it one day. Yeah, man.
Really?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Ask my mother. Ask my mother. Trust me.
We asked him.
So wait. Going to church. What happened?
No, I become woke after a while. Anyway, so what happened is going to church. Going to church exposed me and my brothers and my friends to going to beaches. So we got license. I will go Bluefields of Westmoreland. I will go Walter Fletcher Beach. Not only that, the first time I went to a hotel was Turtle Towers Hotel in the place called Ocherius. You know,
All right, let's go.
Right. But also I drove in a 180E Mercedes Benz go down there with Dr. Pottinger, right? So going to church, I was a part of Boy Scout, I was a part of the Boys Brigade, I was a part of Cadet. So what you had in the 80s and the 90s, you had groups, and you had institution organizations, right? That expose young people. Now, like summer camp, I used to go summer camp every year. Every year I used to go summer camp. I'm done by Iona. You know.
Okay.
So yeah, done by Iona. And before the conference center was built, I used to stay. We used to go at Iona prep and stay at Iona prep for summer camp. Right.
Okay.
The church used to have like their fellowship. So every year them have a national day of fellowship in different parishes. So that's how me know the 14 parishes. So but apart from that, the culture in my home, my father had a 1972 Ford Cortina, and he used to say, "Come, Yaga Road on a Sunday," and he just drive go one parish. Not many persons in Jamaica in a particular area have that luxury. But when you're a part of an organization like a youth club, right? You and a church, you fellowship and stuff like that. You were exposed. We used to do piano lessons, you know. You used to do violin lessons. There's so many things that I was exposed to. We are the parents who come up and don't continue these trends with our children.
Exactly.
Right. We are part of the problem who don't do that.
Exactly.
So we broke the link. Have we broken? That's it. We broke the link. The link has been broken.
Yeah. Like my son, my 15-year-old son has never taken bus in Jamaica. He has never taken public transport. Me used to jump on bus every Saturday. Just jump on a bus, go country. Just go mobile, go chill on him, go anywhere. You know what I mean?
Vita.
So
hello. As I said, I met with a group before you guys came, and I was sharing with Silver that I met with a group of my students this morning, young men only, and I had to. The question was being asked by the parent. I said, no, them need to meet me at Alpha Tree. They're not going to come to school and the bus carry them. They need to meet me at Alpha Tree. So I'm going to say, okay, fine. Where you live? I say, all right, this is the bus you're going to take. This is how you're going to get to me. Right? So it's simply teaching them how to navigate getting some places. And then when we finished, I said to assistants, all right, fine. You and you going the same way, so I go back that way there. So they now know how to navigate from that era back to where they're coming from. You understand?
Well,
so
exactly.
It means that we need to, and when I speak to a lot of young people now, they're not go to church. So they have, as I said, the link has been broken. So all of the exposures and things of which the socialization agencies, the church, the school, the boys brigade, the girls brigade, the youth clubs have broken down, and it's not the fault of the children and young people.
Let me ask a question.
Yeah.
Do you think that parents nowadays, parents in the last 30 years, have become so self-centered that they have refused to allow their children to socialize outside of their community? Where a parent will tell their children, you're not good enough to go to certain events, or that event is a certain class of people. And
All
in
right.
that sense, the
I
children
was having a
have
conversation with one of our preeminent cultural agents in Jamaica, and was talking about the fact that in reaching out to Immaculate, St. Andrew High School, Campion, and I'm going to call the names because I know my sources, to become involved in our cultural activity, it was pulling teeth. You find, interesting enough, you find those from the so-called inner city communities were the ones who were willing to have their children participate in certain, the same Grand Gala you're talking about there, Lester. Same Grand Gala. Any other heritage parade. But when those schools that I listed, Immaculate, St. Andrew High School, Campion College, were asked to be involved and participate in those things, no, not done.
You know what? I think we'll have to there have to be a part 2 on this discussion. I have to try to find someone, find other persons as well, psychologists or so, because I'm not satisfied as yet. I'm more frustrated.
Oshman from Mochi.
I'm more frustrated in a sense because all we have done is we have unearthed or lift up the mold, if anything, to address this whole issue regarding crime. Because as I said at the start, I said what is happening is like there's a sense that persons are now feeling that they're looking for some sort of justification for killings, looking for some sort of justification for crime, instead of recognizing or accepting that this is wrong, this shouldn't be, and a massive groundswell to come up and to say this is wrong. Like Lester was saying, and like you were saying, the news media houses fuel the traumatic aspect of it. How can that be lifted? It can. Can you lift it when these companies are actually benefiting from going viral by having their breaking news? Everybody wants to be a breaking news at the same time, and nobody's actually thinking about the traumatic aspect of it or the scars.
Silver.
I'm not speaking loudly at the same time.
Regarding the diaspora, right?
Yes.
What I have experienced, and just last night I was having a conversation with somebody, right? And today also 2 different persons. One live in the US, one live in France, and their echoes, their opinions on what is happening in Jamaica. And I listened to them. I had to break it down. They said that there's no money being spent on fixing roads, right? There's no money being spent on the buses and this and that and I listen to them. I'm gonna say, you have thousands of Jamaicans around the world who is echoing these same sentiments as if nothing is going on, right? And persons who want an NHD house can't get an NHD house and all these things. And when I listened to the person who was speaking to in France, I said, when it say you finish, I said, and I'm not talking on behalf of the Jamaica Labour Party government. I'm talking about facts now. I said between 1976 and 2016, the NHT was only building 1,500 houses per year. Since 2016, that has increased to 11,000 houses per year.
Sorry, they're building how much before?
1,500 houses per annum.
And now they're building
from 1970, and that is quadrupled or quadrupled, right? And I'm saying, but guess what? People don't know these numbers. I said, when you look at the investment into the Ministry of Security, right, over $28 billion, right? Jamaica never have a good helicopter. We never had a good plane. The JSF never had a plane, a matter of fact, right? We don't see police vehicle are brought up on the roadside again. You don't see fire trucks are brought up on the roadside again, right? But what is happening is that the old type of Jamaica, the 80s type of Jamaica, and the regurgitation of how bad things are is still lingering in a lot of our minds and psyche, our culture. I will keep on I say these things, right? I said to the both persons, I said, whenever NHT announces that a housing scheme is available, right? Within a week, all of the houses are gone. So I said, who are these people buying houses? You know what I'm saying? Are the same friend and company for the big man and the politician are buying houses. I said, you know that the names are published though. You say it's not something private, you know, right? Yeah, people who actually know who's getting these houses, right? Yes. So when we come in at them say, oh, you're defending the party, we say this has nothing to do with the GLP. This has zero. So there's a lot of things happening that. But what Herbert? What I pointed out, I said, you have persons who are maybe persons who are of the opposition ilk. Them not listen to what going on with the government. They know what you know, right? Everything a lie. So developments that is happening, like you can apply for your passport online, you can apply for driver's license online, you can pay your taxes online. There's so many things that they can do, but you don't have to take a plane come to Jamaica. They don't know that because guess what? They don't listen to anything from the government. They have a next set of people who think say all politicians, the GLP or PNP are bad things. So they don't listen to no politician at all. They don't listen to update, they don't go on JIS, they don't do none of them something. They know no developments happening. These are the same people who cost Jamaica now online. I say, God, Jamaica can't tell you that. I'm not going to Jamaica. And so you have these echoes keep going around. And people from other islands and other countries hear this and say, boy, I have a Jamaican friend and they just talk bad about Jamaica that they will never go to Jamaica. This is what's happening.
Jacqueline, listening to what Lester says and how it is, I wouldn't say painted, how he has related it. Can you relate to that in Jamaica at the same time?
Yes, I can relate to what he's talking about in terms of the housing. Right? I can relate to the fact that NHT has increased. Yes. I don't normally go to Half-a-Tree because from where I work, I live to work. I don't have to go to Half-a-Tree, just like but I make an effort. So I made an effort. And I'm like, okay, all right, that happened. That is happening. I'm seeing things happening. Yes. And I'm living in Jamaica, right? And because I don't normally go there, because from home to work, I don't have to go to Half-a-Tree. But because I said I walked through and I saw things and changes. We still have an issue with pothole.
Yes. Yes. I think the potholes have names now.
Bought in 50 buses. I said to them, should not have bought 50 buses. Them need to buy 500. So we need the bus.
Yes.
We need more buses on public transportation on the road, so they need 500, right? They need to stop just doing the train rides only on holidays.
Yes.
Because so I'm hoping that this is an accelerated plan whereby them not only doing it on a holiday and them start increasing it so that the train start get back into.
Do you think and you don't have to answer this if anything, do you think that with the impending or the pending election can affect a level of development in Jamaica if things changes around? I mean,
increased development will happen
either way.
There are a lot of Jamaicans who I have spoken to who have brought properties in Antigua for their retirement property. Other Caribbean islands, that's where they're going to be going. They don't want to stay in the US, they don't want to stay in the UK, but they're looking at Barbados, they're looking at Antigua because of what is being said. And yes, there are some things that are happening. Yes, there are some things that are happening that we need to hold on to and change and transform.
So in the last minute, so let's talk about the diaspora a bit and the power of the diaspora, because Herbert is here in the diaspora, Lester, myself, and the recent demonstration in the States regarding some points which the government is not engaging with. What do you see? Do you see there's a power in the diaspora? This is what I say. I believe there's a power in the diaspora when there's an effective partnership with Jamaica. It makes it very potent. Yeah. What do you see the diaspora role now, in a sense? Not the
getting the correct information. It is all the responsibility of the diaspora outside is to get the proper information about what is actually happening.
Yes.
Irrespective of who is in government and who you are aligned to. Get the proper information and stop spreading incorrect information. Yes. When you get
thank you so much.
And we know that there are things that are not being done well, because as I can say, I was very upset in the early part of December, and I was cussing out, and we were talking about the fact that the road in the community that I work, pipe burst, and it was there for weeks. And before I could have called, somebody else must have called. Before I could have taken up the phone and called, I can tell you, and it's an inner city community, it was fixed. Yes. It was fixed. So I can say that, but there are certain communities where that is not happening to. So the diaspora has the power to hold the
and that's because of politics, you know.
No,
that's raw politics, you know.
Government. No, we're not our politics. Hold the government accountable.
All government.
Demand
I understand, and I'm saying to you that certain.
So I can speak for the government. Hold on a second. Let Jacqueline finish the point.
No. I know, and I'm not. What I'm saying is that it's just raw politics. So certain road we're not fix. Labor them not fix it. That's
really?
That's Silver. Silver, I always ask you to just let me finish the sentence, and you'll hear what I'm saying. Yeah. Right? Once you don't see me in my GLP paraphernalia, you understand me? Once you put it on, start fresh.
But I thought that your GLP paraphernalia you're wearing the colors.
No, it's a German color shirt. The German color.
We don't touch green.
but the onus is on us, because they want the investment from the Jamaicans outside of Jamaica. Hold them accountable.
Yes.
That when I come from Manchester and I need to see this happening in Manchester.
Yes.
I come from Hanover and I need to see this happening in Hanover. Yeah.
My take on the diaspora is that I do not see any viability with them. Reason being,
No.
US,
No. When they said no, you're talking the organization. You mean
the organization, the
organization?
diaspora.
Yeah, the organization.
Yes.
Yeah.
US, Canada, the Caribbean, the UK, Europe. We're all part of the diaspora. I've never heard of a diaspora conference being held or being planned. It is one man speaking. Why? Because he wants his voice to be heard and his voice only. And there are strength in numbers. If we cannot come together as a body or create a viable organization to hold the government responsible, the government will always be telling one person what they think they want to hear and not an organized body. And I think that to me is a red flag or a weak fence where the government will always jump on.
Yeah. I think go on, listen. Yeah,
yes, listen.
If I've said this here so many times on many other platforms, the most powerful tool the diaspora have if you want the government of Jamaica to listen to you, right? If most of us are committed to say, listen, we will not be remitting any money to Jamaica for at least 6 months. I'm telling you they will listen to us.
But the money
I'm telling you they will listen to us.
But listen, the money people give are to their families, isn't it?
Listen to this.
Then the government, no. But what I'm hold on, listen. Let me tell you something.
Are you welcoming this?
Let me tell you something. Jamaicans will survive. Believe me. Don't send that money, and I'm telling you, they will survive because they will figure out a way of to survive without you sending that money. I'm telling you. I've seen it.
My point is, election is coming up, and if any of us want to vote, we have to go to the airport.
Yes.
Yes.
It's very unfortunate.
What I'm saying is, our only purpose to the Jamaican government or to the people in Jamaica is remittance.
Yes.
But we cannot speak because we cannot vote.
Yes.
Yes?
Then flag our Jamaica go vote.
For I'm not that.
No, but you can't have it two-way, Herbert. You can't have it two-way.
No. If we're sending money for Jamaica's development, we should be able to have a part of that development process, be a part of that development process here in England, Canada,
I agree.
and the UK. Right? Don't tell me
I agree.
that if I want to vote, I have to spend £1,500 to go to Jamaica to vote and jump up and know like I'm an idiot. Right? When you have technology now where you can have voting done legitimately. That is my problem.
Well,
with the
I understand. That's not available. That's not available. So go to Jamaica, go vote.
It's not happening.
Yeah.
But abstaining from vote that don't help.
Yeah.
Noreen is asking where the clip was.
Miami. It was in Miami. Noreen.
No, listen.
Yeah.
Financially, going to Jamaica, spend £1,500 to Jamaica to vote. How is that benefiting me financially?
Listen, can I just say this? I spoke to someone who is wanting to run as an independent candidate and in the local government election, but he needs to travel overseas. But he don't want to travel because he fears as he travels he's gonna hear the prime minister say the election is this date, and you'll have to fly back or whatever like that. So he's in a sort of quandary at present because the power rests in the prime minister's mouth to call this election. And I just have this view, and I say this all the while, and many people have been calling for it. Unless the prime minister did say it, that he's going to really sort of fixed term election. And in a way, I believe it would give some level of
He's not going to do it.
Sorry?
He's not going to do it. He's not going to do it.
He's not going to do fixed term, yeah. But he did say that. Well, I know that. He did say it. I'm going to try to find a clip if it was a promise or it was.
No, I know.
Yeah. But hear me out. Hear me what I say. The argument for a fixed term election is having some certainty to the people. Because I believe at the same time, and as I've been saying, that people are being traumatized left, right, and center by many different things. And I believe, in a way, this election thing is a manipulation at the same time. Because I think that the prime minister, you agree, the prime minister can start his campaign and have his plan in mind with his key confidants, and then when he hit the election, he has this sort of undue advantage. And I think it is wrong, and that's why I really strongly support Jacqueline for this constitution reform to be done properly before we talk about removing the king. Everything has got to be done in tandem and in tangent at the same time, properly. I believe the government is holding the people of Jamaica at ransom. In not a sort of
I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far, but
figuratively, in a sense, because why not call election? Jacqueline, why not call election? Jacqueline, can you call election? Can you call election? Can you call it?
No, I can't. I'm
Silver.
I'm sipping my soup. It's not a drink. I'm sipping my soup. My Saturday soup.
Jackie.
Yes, Lester.
Silburn and I will be traveling to Jamaica very soon to cast our ballot. I'll be in the casting for Matthew Samuda, and Silburn will be casting for the opposition person.
I have no idea what Lester is talking about.
Herbert, democracy. Democracy is ripe. Democracy is ripe. Two friends traveling together, you know.
Which day of the week?
well, let's kind of Sunday now because I'm going to church Sunday. Let's go church Sunday, you know.
Let's go church Sunday, and we take out Vita Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
No,
so
I know. It's well over 20 years no go church. So.
What 20 years haven't been in church? Wow.
Yeah, about 15, 20 years no go church.
Yeah. Well, listen, guys. I didn't ask what you guys are drinking, but Jacqueline is sipping soup. You know.
Yeah, man, I'm having my soup.
You having your soup.
What's in that, Lester? Lester, what's in there?
It's okra, cucumber, and Isla Wolme.
Isla Wolme. And I had a juice, and it is called Straight Out of Oche. Straight Out of Oche.
Herbert, what about you?
Herbert, what are you doing?
No, I just came from work. I'm going back shortly.
Yeah. So and Vita is there. I mean, I don't know what she's drinking on the sofa, guys. Ted, my cousin.
Vita drink pina colada, you know.
Pina colada.
Yeah.
Well, no matter where in the world, no matter what time of day.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining tonight. Those on Instagram, those on TikTok, those on YouTube, and on Facebook. It's a very interesting topic, and I'm sure it's going to happen further. As a matter of fact, what I'm going to be doing is trying to get somebody else, some other persons, and to do a special Sunday show on crime. I'm going to try to see if I can get Mark Shields as well, you know, to have some discussion. And also, I'll be having your friend at some point soon, Joseph Patterson, coming on the show. Smile. Joseph Patterson from UIC.
Silbert, I need his number, you know, cause whenever I go into Jamaica in the summer, so I want to hook up with him.
Yes,
I want to have a conversation with him.
Yes, I'll definitely. I'm sure.
Are you trying to radicalize him? Oh.
For what?
Yes.
I don't know.
And I look. I look forward that once the election is called, to have Mark Golding on and to have the Prime Minister on. Surprisingly, you know, might think it's far fetched, but Prime Minister Andrew is the guy, you know, you just show up, you just come in on a show on Saturday night. You know what I mean? Right, Lester?
you thought the local government at the general election?
Local government, man, local government. Because do you think they're going to be on the two of them at the same time?
No.
So therefore,
general election. No, I mean, I think maybe in the third term. I think after the third term, it's possibility that it will happen. The thing is, the Jamaica Labour Party, we have whole of money to spend, so we're not keep the two elections at the same time.
Yeah,
the budget we have $1 trillion budget, you know.
Yeah, that's right.
We have $3 billion worth of road work for doing, so you know, money go run, man.
Yeah,
money go run, and white rum, Herbert, white rum will be served on enough of the work, so you can.
Well, Vita is having rum punch on Instagram. A rum punch, you say? Yeah. Rum punch.
Oh, okay.
Listen,
the white rum thing there. White rum and Corrigo, that's what Jamaica is built on, and that's why politicians always have them because they say white rum and Corrigo.
Beautiful foundation. Beautiful foundation.
Vita said third term loading.
Yes.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, but I'm going to church tomorrow, and you know, so I'm gonna have to go rest. Jacqueline.
Yes.
All the best.
Yeah, peace, Silver.
Celebrating 200 and odd years of ministry. 200 and odd years of ministry in the Methodist Church is celebrating 200 and odd years of ministry in Jamaica. Okay. So that's happening tomorrow at the National.
And definitely, I'll be linking you with the social worker in the UK as well, to link with yourself.
Thanks very much, so.
As well. So definitely look forward to that as well.
What's your IG, Lester?
Blogging God.
Blogging God underscore European. Blogging. No, hold on. Lester is one Lester there. No. Blogging God underscore European Gaza. Just type in Blogging God. I used to come up.
Blogging God, got up blogging, done.
Silbern, peace.
Same thing on Facebook.
Peace, Silbern, peace.
Oh, she's talking to you, Lester.
I'm asking if it's the same thing on Facebook.
Lester, Jacqueline is speaking. Is it the same one on Facebook?
Oh, Lester Gale. That's Lester Gale.
Yes.
Okay.
You're gonna see about 5 of them. Just click add to all of them.
Jacqueline,
Lester Gaza man Gale. Lester Gaza.
No. I don't use those anymore. Just type in Lester Gale and you'll see me.
Those are
something to share.
Those are incarcerated for a lifetime.
me not button front shirt. Looking like a businessman.
Like somebody decent.
Decent.
Yeah, decent. Yeah.
Vita buy me that shirt then.
Mr. Lester Gale and him look like him say Excelsior High School. Is that it?
Yes, in my Excelsior.
Yeah, man. Any Lester Gale you see, just click on it. Any Lester Gale you see.
No, but Mr. Lester Gale Gaza man, you say no, don't do that.
No, Gaza boss and Gaza man, me don't use them anymore. That's when I just met Silbern and I was a different type of character them time there, right, Silbern?
Trust me, he was.
So Silbern has transformed it. Between Silbern and Vita, they transform it.
Wow,
I know a few guys that boy. I have to call them once and I said, yo, you can't do them thing they promise show, man, and something like that. But I like listening because if I was a sort of stuffy upper north or whatever person, I wouldn't get to know a lot of people because I believe I like hearing when people cuss bad in a way like and stuff like that. But I more reach out to them than turn off from them. You know what I mean? and that's how I get to sort of get to know.
But Silburn, to my credit, Silburn, I wasn't just cussing bad words saying that. I was also giving context and content but bad word in it.
Let me clarify. It actually wasn't bad word. It's communication. But because we in Jamaica see those words as expletives, that's the thing. But actually, it is communication, isn't it, Herbert?
Yeah.
It's communication.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
All
right. Sorry.
I just said that about communication. Any of you ever read the book The Lunatic by Anthony Winkler?
No. You're gonna send us a link. So we can do
I think so.
Because as you said, the communication, that was how the book was written.
Yes.
He was a professor at a university in the US.
Yes.
And the students were not responding in the way and him started cuss some wonderful Jamaican swear words, and there was no response.
Yes.
And till one student, this is a university student, turned around and said, "Sir, what language are you speaking?"
Yes.
What language are you speaking? And that gave him the idea for writing the book called The Lunatic. So look up The Lunatic by Anthony Winkler.
There's a guy I'm gonna interview at some point. He does herb roots named Nima. And him cosplay bad all the while. And when him on and him say, I'm gonna be quiet now. I see a respectable man from England, Mr. Silburn, And I said, Virgin, just cuss bad old man. That's why I'm like, come on, because when I went to the UK, when I came to the UK in '92, I used to purposefully go through Brixton. Because you have a guy I ride on a bicycle and I feel bad word in my cussing, and people used to cuss a lot of bad word, and I used to stand by the Iceland waiting for the number 3 bus to go up to Gypsy Hill, Crystal Palace. I was living at Crystal Palace, and I just used to close my eyes and just listen to the bad word them. It just reminded me of a yard, just going through Brixton. So for me, it was like home, away from home, just going through Brixton at that time.
And some people cuss it sweeter than some.
Yeah, Brixton is a bit gentrified now, and so like that. But those are the. So I have no problem when I hear people cursing bad word, because I realize that people don't curse bad word sometimes as if they're swearing; they're communicating.
Yeah, that's their form.
That's
your style.
On the stop spinning around now.
What's that? Oh, you are spinning around.
Jimmy said everybody that's spinning around a while ago.
No, he was spinning around, wasn't it? You're drinking.
Silburn.
Yeah.
Silburn. One of my brethren over here say in call me, and him say, Lester, me depressed. And me say, what happened? Me miss hearing the gunshot man the body with my money. Me say, you miss hearing the gunshot them? Me say, yeah man. I mean, I say, over here too quiet. But Silburn, coming to the Netherlands, we realize that Jamaica noisy. Jamaica are one noisy place, right? And living in Jamaica so long, and then you go to a country like Netherlands, or you realize it's quiet, like quiet. Like I mean, I say Jamaica noisy,
Do you know what you can't find in England sometimes? A rock stone on the ground.
No, true. You're true. There's no rock stone over here. Silburn, a rock stone over here, Silburn.
Because I walk in the park a lot, yeah. And sometimes I protect myself from dogs. Sometimes one dog, I'm like, when I rush more and tell them, man, look for a rock stone. Couldn't find a rock stone to make things quiet the dog.
Silburn, a Spain, me look for one stone, so there, so a Spain, me have to go. Me have a flag, a Spain, me have Vita. For one stone. So we get to a stone.
Herbert, that's a business in Herbert. We're gonna find some stone for sell. My sister one time sent me a tin. Say the tin had sunshine in it. That's what people are fool. A tin of sunshine.
No,
anyway.
No. That is not nice.
That is Jacqueline, that is when you're really homesick. That's it, you know.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, so
All right.
listen,
I'm
guys.
putting in the chat the link for the book.
Okay. That is
Amazon. Lunatic by Anthony C. Winkler.
Yeah, I think Vita said she watched it already. I think you
There
said
was a movie, but you see, I tend to want to read the book. I read the book more than I watch the movie. I'm not a movie person. I'm a reader.
Yeah.
I'm a reader. I did go to the launch of the movie. It was launched at Carib 5.
Oh, no, so there's a movie. Sorry, I made a mistake by saying Vita says she watched the movie. She was saying yes. Apparently she read the book, but I said watch. Okay, there's a movie to it.
There's a movie to it.
Vita,
but I prefer
Vita married to a lunatic, you know, so.
Well,
Vita married to a lunatic, also, you know.
I have no comment.
Vita is married to a lunatic.
Huh?
No,
Lester is saying Vita is married to a lunatic.
Well, if Vita just realized that she lived,
so I've heard.
No, Lester said that Vita is married to a lunatic.
Well, if Vita just realized that she's married to a lunatic, nobody can help her. It's gone too far gone.
Yes. Oh, Vita said she watched the movie. Actually. Vita said she watched the movie. You know who I like here Cospadon? That guy named Walk and Live, Talk and something dead. Wait a minute again.
Clive.
Paul Campbell.
Paul Campbell.
Oh yes. Yeah. Yes, that's true. That's true.
When him say what?
Dancer Queen.
Yeah, when him said
Walk on BC live.
Yeah. When him said, I'm afraid, I can't son, I'm afraid. But like I said, you afraid? Bella, yeah, I'm afraid of me to do to them. or the one when that guy was clapping his hands. Look what just come back. You know that movie there? You know the movie?
Yeah, Shatters Yata, part 1.
Yeah. When the Marley guy come in and my guy who died, I clap him on and said, look who they anyhow, can't see those things, yeah. All right, guys, listen. I enjoy myself too much. Peace out.
Peace.
Jacqueline.
Yes.
Take care of yourself. Thank you so much for coming at short notice.
Nice meeting you, Jacqueline.
Yeah. We're gonna bring Jacqueline up to the UK at some point to speak to some social work. Oh, Jacqueline, have you heard what happened recently in the UK? There's a little boy that the social work kept knocking on the door 2-3 times trying to find him, and guess what happened? On the third occasion, the social worker got the key from the landlady, and the little boy was dead. His father died of heart attack or had complications. So the boy starved. He was 2 years of age. So social service kept going back regular every 2 days or so, you know. So there was some investigation, or they're saying should social service be blamed, or anyway, they're doing a serious case review. Okay.
Wow.
You know? But one of the things that is very interesting in the whole thing is that sometimes people are quick to blame, ascribe blame, and when I look at it in a way, people like to rush social workers, but as a person who is a legal person regarding and advise social workers, I know for sure a lot of children's lives have been saved by the advent of social work intervention. But we always know the one. That didn't work.
Yeah.
And so that was a very interesting thing. Yeah. All right. Anyway, guys, peace out. God bless you, Lester, Herbert.
Peace.
Right. And ladies and gentlemen,
enjoy your weekend, Jackie.
Yeah, man.
All right. Thank you.
Take care of yourself. All right. Lester. Yeah. Whatever that is. Oh, it's 3 terms. I mean 3 terms. Okay, right. I guess somebody's gonna cut and paste, screenshot my videos to say I'm doing 3 terms. All right, Jackie, take care of yourself. Herbert, peace out.
Yeah,
all right,
bye,
cool. Later.
Peace out.
Take care. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for joining tonight, and for those on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, have a great night and God bless you. And I'll be back next Thursday on In Review, and next Saturday on Talk and Sip, and next Sunday with Professor Rosalie Hamilton, and we take from, and I'm supposed to have Matunda as well, Matunda Makula, and if the government call the election, we'll be having a election watch as well. All right, so peace out, God bless you, and have a great Sunday. Well, it's Sunday now in the UK. Michelle and everybody, see you around. Bye bye. Let's go.